We are live
Awesome.
on Facebook. There we are. Here
Hello,
we
everybody on
go.
Facebook land. Hello, hello.
Here we go. Here we go. Request to join. Fantastic.
Yep.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, and there you are.
Hello.
And we'll move us over like this. And I'll be joining on Instagram in just 1
Yes.
second.
This way.
Okay. Allowing me to join. I should be here in just a second.
Okay. Gotta love it.
There's lots of buttons to push, right?
Yes,
Just to be
there we go. Get centered that
let me
way.
just center us a little bit more here.
Yes.
Actually, let me just bring us down a bit. Maybe that's what I need to do here. That's what I need to do. There we are. Ta-da! All right, I think we're good to go.
I think so too.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to our episode number 64 of Window Treatment Friday Live. This is when Kim and I hang out here every Friday at around 9 a.m.-ish and enjoying our cup of coffee. Hopefully you guys are as well. That's right. And if you've never been here, welcome, welcome. Like I said, we're here every Friday essentially talking about window treatments. That's where the title is from, right? Window Treatment Friday. And we're live on Facebook and Instagram, right, Kim?
Yes, we are.
And today we are talking about some of our favorite designers, and it is actually one of our favorite topics. Every month we pick a few designers that both Kim and I admire, respect, like. Some we work with, some we don't. We just kind of admire them from afar. And we just want to shine a little bit of a spotlight on them and highlight their work and tell you a little bit about them. And hopefully, if you guys like their work, you can start following them as well and admiring them just like we are.
Yes.
So without further ado, here we go.
Here we go. Okay. I'm going to just give everyone full disclosure. The three designers that I picked today have been previous guests of Luann on the podcast. So we have not done any of their work. The guests span from Chicago. One of the designers is here in New Jersey. I actually just met her this week. She's fantastic. But so, yeah, I just figured, you know what, we might as well showcase different designers from, not in our area. So the first one that we have here is Lavender Interiors, and this is Mark Lavender. Mark started off in the architectural space, so he worked in corporate architectural firms for about 25 years. He worked on hospitals, institutional spaces. And once he was done with all of that, he decided it was time to open up his two-person firm. He is based out of the North Shore of Chicago. And what I loved about Mark's designs are the very traditional sensibility that he has in his designs. So the project that I decided to highlight, as you can see here with the cute little dog in the front,
you can never go wrong with either a dog or a baby.
No, exactly. Is a nod to a more traditional sense of design and decorating, something that we don't always see all the time. It's not really kind of the popular and the norm here, mixing the plaids and all the different, the more traditional looking chandelier. It's hard to tell on the picture, especially on Instagram, but what I really loved about this window treatment is, I love a trim or any kind of detail. And so he has a plaid banding on the lead edge. So, and it's also showing, because more with that traditional sense, you mixed a lot of different patterns. So you could have florals and stripes and plaids and whatnot. Now where everything is very clean line, solids, and so he kind of gives a nod to the more current with the solid drapery panels, but then
Right.
brings that little traditional element with that plaid band on the lead edge.
And I like how the plaid band, of course, coordinates with the plaid rug too.
Right, right. And I love the placement of the drapery rod. I always say when there are architectural elements in the room,
Mhm.
let's figure out a way where we can line it up. I was at a project in Princeton yesterday, and we are installing, hopefully going to be installing stationary drapery panels on 4 windows in each space. And it was like, okay, where are we going to line this up? And one window almost butts up to the corner to a built-in. And it was like, okay, let's do it right in this crown space area. So everything kind of lines up throughout the room. And you bring that line of the crown all around. So I loved
Yep.
where they placed the rod here. They brought
Mhm.
it up obviously a little higher than the window, which we
Which
ultimately
we
love.
love. Yep.
So it,
Should
it, it kills me sometimes when I hear some designers or some clients just say, oh, like 2 or 3 inches above. And you're like, no, wait a
no, that's
minute.
not what we do anymore.
No, we wanted to go higher. So yeah, so
All the way up.
I really like this project. If you are a designer watching this and you really want to get to know about a lot of processes and systems, what Mark brought from his corporate world, he really developed that into his firm and all the different and really brought, like, because with anything in corporate there's about 20 steps to do one thing, right? So when you could really deep dive into that, it's really great. So give a listen to his episode. I don't remember all the episodes, so I will put them in the notes and in the comments.
I remember listening to his episode. I
Yeah.
thought he was incredibly insightful and
Mhm.
sounded so experienced. And with experience, there comes a certain level of being grounded, and
Yes.
that's what I got from him from his episode. I don't know if I
Yeah.
remember a lot of the specific advice that he gave, but that's like the general feeling that I got from
Yeah,
him.
especially when you're working in 25 years of corporate architecture where you're just, and he was saying some projects could last
Hmm.
7 to 8 years. And
Hmm.
so, and when you're dealing with like $1 billion budget, that's a lot of responsibility. And
Yeah.
over, I think he said one of the projects is over 1 million square feet. So just think about when we deal with homes. I mean, the biggest project home that I dealt with was 17,000 square feet. So a
Wow.
million,
Even that
yeah,
17 is a lot as it is.
that was a very big lot of trim, lot of drape, a lot of the whole thing. So it just,
I'm sure.
so kudos to you, Mark.
Nicely done here. All right, the first designer that I would like to highlight is Maria Viola of Viola Interior Design, and I have here her website, which is violainteriordesign.com, and you can also follow her on Instagram at Viola Interior Design also. And Maria has had a tremendous amount of experience in the interior design industry. I've known her not super closely, but through the organizations that we've belonged to together here in the Philadelphia area
Mhm.
for quite a few years. She was actually the president of our Philadelphia ASID chapter. Actually, I should say Pennsylvania East, but it's based in Philadelphia. So she was the president of our chapter, and anytime this chapter needs her to step in or step up and fill in something, like I'm thinking back to a very particular example a couple of years ago where one of our speakers canceled on us during an annual meeting, which is one of the biggest meetings we have here. And he canceled at the last minute. And we were, as a board, I'm actually on the board as well. Now I'm a membership director. So we were scrambling trying to find a replacement. And I called Maria, asked her to step in and fill in on something that we had in mind. And without a doubt, without a quiver, without any kind of questions, like, yep, absolutely, I will. And just to have that kind of support from her, I'm sure knowing what it's like to be on the board and having had these types of situations, she
Yeah.
was just so willing and able and capable. And I just really appreciated that, knowing, of course, how busy she is. So that's a little bit kind of on the human side. But in terms of her interior design side, I mean, there's just no question how incredibly talented she is. I think I would not be wrong if I said that she is one of the mega power stars of the Philadelphia interior design scene. There's probably a handful of interior designers that are that talented and that powerful in terms of their grasp, I think, of the craft and grasp of the industry and grasp of the human nature. I remember about 7, maybe even going back to like 10 years ago, I was calling her actually, and she didn't know who I was back then. I was cold calling her. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Vita. I have a custom workroom. I'm a window treatment specialist. On an off chance that you need an additional or an alternative resource, think of me." So I think we exchanged maybe a couple of, not exchange, actually it was very one-sided. I kept calling her. So, but I was, I was being persistent and all that. And then one time I saw her at the design center at a networking event. And, back then I was like totally green and, probably didn't know much. But I remember how she took a minute to kind of acknowledge that I was there, acknowledge that I did try to reach out to her, and she complimented me on how important it was to kind of go to the networking events and show your face, and that she was able to put together the face with the name and the phone calls, and to have something like that come from from somebody that I admired from afar for a long time. That was really special to me back then, 10 years ago. Still is. So, but since then I've stopped courting her because I've learned that she actually, a very good friend of mine, who is also a window treatment specialist, does her window treatment. So yes, so as soon as I learned that, and that girl is actually, I've actually business coached her and I've known her for a long time. So as soon as I learned, like, okay, I'm like, hands off of Maria, Vita. But that still does not stop me. It doesn't preclude me from really loving what she does and admiring the beautiful work that she does and highlighting her work, which is why I'm highlighting her here. Ooh. And this is one of the projects that I wanted to show. I mean, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous house. This was a special custom home project for Poling Homes that she did. And she designed every single aspect of this home. And she started working with these clients even before the ground broke on this house. So look at the gorgeous ceiling and at the chandelier, even though it's just peeking through. I mean, this gorgeous bedroom, and of course us here concentrating on window treatments, beautiful solid drapes there. Kim, you would really appreciate they're mounted to the ceiling with ceiling mount brackets. Yes, and it's hard to see here in the picture because they're small, but they're in the pleats. And that's something that I really respect and admire Maria for, her incredible attention to detail. They're little buttons at the base of the pleat. Yes. So who doesn't like yourself a little button anywhere, especially on this at the base of the pleat, right? Kim, us window treatment dorks. Well, at least I am. I put myself in that category.
Believe me.
I wear it with pride. It's a badge of honor. I'm a window treatment dork.
Yeah.
So it's just, beautifully crafted, beautifully done. Attention to detail, understanding of scope, style, proportion, design, color is just everything that Maria embodies and encompasses in her work. And and by the way, she was also on Luann Niagara's podcast.
Oh, well, hold on. Let me see. I can see
which episode it is. That would be great. Thanks for having my back on that one.
Yeah.
And she is also something not to be overlooked. She is a professor at Drexel University, where she also graduated from. So this is her way to kind of pay back to her alma mater and bring up new generations of interior designers. So kudos to Maria.
1 second, guys. Okay, she was episode 230.
Oh, perfect.
And then Mark Lavender, his episode is 675.
Nice. That's right. He was recent. Yeah. 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 All right. Moving on.
Okay. So the next designer we are going to highlight is Amy Lynn Allard, and from Amy Lynn Interiors. She is based out of Boston. Her episode just aired, I think, about like 2 weeks ago. She was episode 693. Looked all my episodes up so we could be prepared.
Nice.
And let me tell you what, after listening to her episode, man, the systems and processes that she has in place to run her design firm. Now, little background on Amy. She worked for high-end kitchen and bath designers for many, many years. Her firm is only, she started her own design firm in 2018, and she started as a solopreneur and now has two employees that work for her, a full-time designer and then an intern, I believe. And so just hearing everything that she does to keep her team organized and her agenda system and whatnot. She also talks about how she works with a business coach who helped really help her hone in on these systems and processes that she has in place. Yeah, it was like mind blowing when I was
I
listening
remember
to.
that episode. I was listening to it and I was driving and I was like, I felt like I had to pull over on the side of the
I
road and start
know.
taking notes because
I
even me, and I'm a systems geek too, like that's another badge of honor
yeah.
that I wear. I was like, wait, what do you do by 11 a.m. You're supposed to like report to something. I'm like, wait.
I know. It was like I even thought to myself, I'm gonna have to re-listen to, because I was also listening to it when I was driving, and I thought I'm gonna have to listen to this when I'm in my home office so I could take detailed notes. Like the way that she creates an agenda, and then it's her team has to plug it into their calendar, and then she can check the calendar and the notes and everything else. And I was just like, okay, wow, this
I
is
mean,
like,
that's some like next level
well,
organizational stuff.
not only that, but then the systems that she created for the binder with all the like specs of like the double ovens and the refrigerators and the plumbing fixtures. Because again, you have to remember, when coming from the kitchen and bath background, she
Mhm.
has all that knowledge and whatnot. So just hearing the way that she communicates and works with all her trades, which is really nice. And the fact that we're trades, I always love hearing when other designers, how they work with their trades, because that's
Yeah.
always, for me at least, that's, we're considered a trade, and
Yeah.
it's very important to me to be like, oh, okay, that's how they do it, they're getting success, okay, maybe we change our system and the way we communicate with the designers to kind of, because sometimes we don't get a PO, or we don't have a final selection on hardware, and then it's the chase game. So it's the whole, oh, okay, that's how they do it, great, maybe that's how we need to pivot. So the project that I wanted to feature was definitely a kitchen, because Amy's kitchens and bathrooms are amazing. And what I loved about this was use of a down bottom up woven wood.
Hmm.
Um, because I love when you're using a woven wood in an application like this in a kitchen. I feel like what it does is it ties in that copper hood that that's like the showcase piece of the room. So, and then you have the darker, I don't remember if it was a backsplash or paint. But you have the contrast of the darker color behind. And I love that she picked a natural color for the woven. It could have been very easily, we could have picked a white, you could have picked a gray, something along those lines, but going with that natural color and really having that contrast.
Hmm.
And the top down, bottom up, I love that feature. We use it a lot in bathrooms, and in this kitchen, you can see like from the outside, it looked like it was an area that had a lot of woods, maybe a really gorgeous view, but you want to be private at your cooking level. Maybe you're at your counter in your pajamas and you really don't want your neighbor seeing that you're in your pajamas. So I just loved the use of the product
Yeah.
in the kitchen, and I think Amy did a really great job.
And it's not often that you see bamboo color woven woods
No,
anymore. We used to use them quite a lot back
yeah,
maybe 10 years ago, 15 or so, but nowadays it's all about the whites and the grays and, pure neutrals.
hmm,
So to see bamboo color coming back, I always like when old things are new again. So
I
I
do
can really
too.
appreciate that.
I do too. So kudos to Amy.
So the next designer that I'd like to highlight is Holley Pokora of Holley Pokora Interiors. And her website is holleypokorainteriordesign.com. And you can also find her on Instagram at Holley Pokora Interior Design. And we started working with Holley probably this year, maybe 2020, 2021. We've done several projects for her. And I find her to be very succinct, very business oriented. She's very specific, which I appreciate. There's no wishy-washing with her. There's no, you know exactly where you stand with her, and you know exactly what she wants.
Hmm.
So in my book, that's a very respectable characteristic. But Holley started her business actually back in, well, she's got introduced into the world of construction and interior design back in 2001
Okay.
when she worked on model homes with her brother. So she worked a lot on the engineering and construction. She kind of stood along the trimmers and the electricians and the plumbers and sort of rode the wave of the housing boom back then. And oh, Renee's saying love Holley. Oh, good. I'm glad you like her too. And you know her. Yeah, Holley started her business in 2008, which is like when her interior design firm was officially born. Um, she she graduated from Penn State in marketing, which I can also kind of empathize with maybe or associate with because that's my undergraduate degree as well. And then she went on to do her master's degree in architecture from Jefferson, what is now known as Jefferson University. And if you check out Holley's bio on her website, you'll know that she's a recipient of multiple awards from Home Builders Association here in our area, as well as other organizations for the beautiful work that she has been doing for the last 10 years or so. And the project that I wanted to feature is this. This is actually a basement, and this is a separation between what is kind of like the theater room and the rest of the basement. And instead of just having an opening with nothing there, Holley decided to frame it with beautiful drapery panels. Yeah, they're very pretty. It's an ikat, a kind of pattern. So I thought, Kim, that you would appreciate it. I know you like that. And but the most interesting thing about it is what we've done on the back end of those drapes. So I have a little video for you.
Love when you get so fancy with the technology.
And by we you mean Stephanie.
Yeah. I don't know what we would do without her. Ooh,
how
cool,
right? So that's right. So because these are not facing the window, but it's a divider between the two rooms, we had to be careful about how we line it. And you can see how Holley decided to line it with a contrasting fabric. So she picked out oh my God, picked up a gold color from the front fabric, used it as a solid on the back, and of course the showstopper here is that gorgeous Greek key trim. I mean, it was probably about, good 5 to 6 inches on the leading edge. So this was really pretty. It wasn't not challenging to make, I think, which is another way of saying this was very challenging to make, actually. Anytime you do double-sided drapes, it creates additional layer of complexity. But if on top of that you put a trim, that's yet another layer of complexity. And so Holley doesn't know this, and I'm not sure if she's listening, but if she does, well, she doesn't know this little tidbit that we made the drapes and we're super happy and proud of them. And then the day before the installation, I don't know, something kind of hit me. You have like these spidey senses, right? Like you have this spidey sense. I'm like, something, I just want to make sure that it's right.
All day, every day.
And it's like, something is off. So we decided, it's not often that we hang our projects. We're pretty confident in our measurements and our lengths and on our fabrication standards. And this one, because it had 2 different fabrics, it had to align just right because of this large trim, all the things. I'm like, let's just hang it. So we hung it up, and sure enough, the back fabric, the gold fabric, we tried to make it the same length, but what happens is, because there are different weights and different textures, the gold fabric started stretching more. So what would have happened is we would have hung it up, our installer would have hung it up. It was beautiful, that back image. Oops. This one, beautiful pattern, and the gold would have shown from the bottom because it was really stretching and becoming longer. That was one issue that we encountered. And then the second issue that we encountered is that because of this trim, the large, here, I'll put it up again, put on the video again, because of the size of the trim, we had to the way we had to sew it, what started happening is the leading edge started to ride up, started to lift
Oh,
up. Yeah,
okay.
so creating what is known in the industry as smiling draperies, right?
Mm,
So that's when the leading edge is higher than the middle
yeah,
of the drape. So essentially, I mean, not quite pronounced, but it looked a little
just
bit
like
like
that.
this. I mean, the difference was about an inch, but still, in
It's
our
a
world,
lot.
quarter of an inch is a lot, right? So, so we hung them up, and it's like morning of the day before, we're like, oh my God, so
Yeah.
of course, after having a mild heart attack, we took off the table, and that's the beauty of having the workroom right here, exactly where we work. We have the flexibility and the
Hmm.
ability to do all of that. So we took off the table, whatever Boris was working on, we put these drapes back on, we unhemmed them, rehemmed them, made sure everything was right, hung them up again. It was perfect. And we're like, whew, that was a big, big, big bullet dodge there. So
Yeah.
that's my little challenging story with that project.
Now I have one question for you. Did you guys interline these at all, or is it just the face and the?
Was
Okay.
just the face, right? I think if these were hung next to a window with some sun exposure, we probably would have, but both fabrics were really of decent weight, so we
Yeah.
didn't want to add yet another
Yeah,
weight there.
another layer.
Yeah, yeah, but good
Nicely
question.
done.
Thank
Nicely
you.
done. Okay. So the next and final designer that I'm going to highlight is Ariella Horowitz. She is a New Jersey-based designer, and her group is the AH Design Group. She was episode 631, and she does custom builds where she first started out with reaching out to a builder and saying, I can help you pick out the fixtures and the tile and all that good stuff for your spec home. And once that became a success, they developed a relationship and kept working on other homes and things like that. So when she started off, she worked on about 10 homes a year. Now, all these years late, many years later, she works on about 100 projects a year.
Oh my God,
Mm.
100 projects a year? Holy moly.
Yep.
In
And
interior design world, that's huge.
yes,
I mean, in
especially,
the window treatment world, it's a lot in the window treatment world, but that's, for you and I, that's common.
yeah,
But
if
for
not
an
more.
interior designer, that's like, wow.
And it's not just, and it's like whole homes, and she does very intricate molding details, ceiling details, tiles. It's not, and it's no home looks the same. That's the other thing too.
Wow.
She could pick the same things, but she said, no, I want it to be different. I want it to be a reflection of the different home and different space. I don't want it to all feel very cookie cutter. She has a team of, it's herself and I believe two other designers on there. So it's not this whole like huge firm of 10 people.
Wow.
I got to see one of the homes that she built. Actually, Luann's daughter, Christy, her best friend, Lauren, hired Ariella to design her home. And just seeing
Oh,
what
nice.
they were able to do there. Yeah, we did the window treatments for Lauren, but just I remember walking in the house and being like, whoa. So if you want to see that, you can head on over to Ariella's Instagram, which is, let me see one second, Ariella Horowitz Design Group. Yeah, you can get total design inspiration. And then you can see there where she has how different each home looks, where it's like you can tell it's an Ariella design, but
Mhm.
no home looks exactly the same. The tiles aren't the same, which is pretty remarkable when you're working on that many projects in 1 year. Talk
Yeah.
about being organized and the systems. And this project that I
Yeah, I
wanted
want to
to,
know what her systems are.
yeah, well, I when I heard that, I was like, she makes me sound like I'm lazy because I know like 100
Me too.
projects, 100 like okay, like in any given month we could have 40 projects in a month going on between like in our world here at WindowWorks. So, but it could be one wood blind down to 5 whole homes that I have going on at the moment, plus
Yeah.
whatever crazy retractable roof awnings for 3 restaurants that we have happening. Um, but 100 projects and we're not talking about like one bathroom, the whole home from like
Incredible.
start to finish. So anyway, so this project here, what I wanted to showcase is a living room that she did for a client. And What I love about this is the double rod layer, and then using an inside mount Roman shade there. So it looks like from the picture, they're operable shears that you could open and close with a pair of stationary panels, and they look like they're very full. So they may be able to close them. It's hard to tell, and not doing the project, it's hard to speak on it, but with the amount of pleats that there are, they may be able to close. And I love the fact that, oftentimes, I don't know, Vita, you tell me, we often debate whether or not do we put the Roman shade inside mount or do we put it outside mount and have it go even with the drape. So
very much so, yes.
Yeah.
It's a big to do in our world,
Yeah,
right?
it's like, well, then you have to go down the rabbit hole of the conversation. Do you want things to line up? And you can, in the window, there was enough of a reveal, so you could get that Roman shade inside there to sit flush, which is another big thing, because even though we can get the headboard or the headrail in there, but when it starts to pleat up, does it kick out from inside the window frame? So you need a decent amount of inside mount clearance. So it's all these little things and little details that you have to think about. And Ariella does think about that, especially, and that's the advantage too, when you have a designer who's building the home from scratch with the builder, you can think about, okay, eventually we're going to put window treatments here. Where do we want that ceiling detail to start? Okay, the beams are going there, great, but we're going to need a place to put a rod. So give me some space between, the bottom of the beam to the top of the window, because I've run into that too, where they do these amazing ceiling details, but then we want draperies, and it's like, great.
And there's like nowhere to put it. There's no mounting space.
Yeah, we have 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the beam to the top of the window.
Like, good thinking, architect.
So that's the really, that's one of the advantages of working with a designer that, especially someone as talented as Ariella, that all those kinds of details are being thought of and planned ahead of time, and then you get this amazing final product.
Beautiful. She did a gorgeous job.
Yes.
So the last designer that I would like to highlight is Michelle Gage. Her website is michellegage.co, and her Instagram handle is @MichelleGage. She is a younger designer in the Philadelphia area, but no less of a powerhouse than a lot of the more established designers in our area. What I admire about her to just nth degree is her ability to combine colors and textures and patterns. Like, I mean, just like there's no tomorrow. It's incredible. I mean, I'll show you the project that I'd like to highlight in just a second. But before that, let me just tell you a little bit about her. Her corporate background is actually from Anthropologie, which I think all of us know that brand, kind of a youngish, hipsterish kind of brand. And you'll see some of her work kind of reminds you of an Anthropologie store and that whole merchandising. So there's definitely a little bit of homage there to her background. And she started her business in 2015, so not that long ago. So about 6 years ago or so, right? But the amount of work and the breadth of the projects that she's done is really quite remarkable, and I just respect her so much for that. So her other accomplishment I have to tell you about is that she was recognized by the Tory Burch Foundation as a recipient of a year-long fellowship last summer of 2020. So I actually didn't realize that Tory Burch had a foundation. I had to look it up, and it's really incredible. It's an organization devoted to really lifting up younger interior designers and giving them the tools, the confidence, the support of really making it in this overcrowded, I think, a quite overcrowded world of other interior designers. So it does take a lot of confidence and a lot of self-awareness to break into this world and to stay in it and to really leave its mark. And so I really admire that Michelle was able to become the recipient of this award from the Tory Burch Foundation, and also, most importantly, I think, recognize the importance of mentors and coaches that really get us to the next level.
Yeah.
Now, the one personal thing that I wanted to mention about Michelle is that she is a lover of dogs. She herself has 4, and she's also, she used to foster a lot of dogs. At one point, I think she had 4 of her own and 5 that she was fostering, which I can't even imagine what kind of zoo that was in the house. And recently, she moved out of her house and into a studio in Bryn Mawr. So she's in the main line west of Philadelphia, which made fostering impossible. But she also kind of dedicated herself to making sure that these doggies do have a home, so now she's looking for other foster homes and trying to bring together the puppies that need a home with people that are looking for that. So as a matter of fact, there is an event that she is hosting tomorrow, August 21st at 10 a.m. That is called, in partnership with Providence Animal Center. So they're calling it a puppy yoga.
Oh.
Yes, so she's hosting this puppy yoga event at her studio in Bryn Mawr, where she's saying, come and join us. And there's a nominal fee, and all of the proceeds are going to the Providence, to this organization, Providence Animal Center. And she's like, on this, I pulled it off of her Instagram, come join us and do a downward dog with an actual dog next to you. I mean, how cool is that, right? If I wasn't going on vacation tomorrow, I think I would have driven myself over to Bryn Mawr and did some downward dog yoga poses, and hopefully had a little puppy running around me. So anyway, that's just really admirable of her. I'm an animal lover myself, and knowing that, but I don't foster, I haven't done that next step. So knowing how difficult it. My daughter's over there. She's like,
please. Yeah. No, but it's hard because then you have them and then you have to say goodbye to them.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know how she's doing it. So like my heart goes out to her, and my heart and my hat really is just incredible what she's been able to do there.
Billy here, our installer, he has 4 dogs and fosters dogs.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
When I started here, he had 1 dog, and then 2 of the other dogs he got were fosters that he was like, oh no, they live here now.
Oh, I guess it's impossible to say goodbye, right, to some of these guys. Oh my goodness. So this is a project of Michelle's that I wanted to highlight. So doesn't it not feel like you've just stepped into an anthropology store?
I love a green drape.
I do too. Yes. Yeah. Especially that Kelly green is really coming back. I feel like we're seeing it everywhere. But, check out that wallpaper. Check out the hot pink headboard against that wallpaper. And then you have 2 white Roman shades on that wallpaper. And then you have a Kelly green drape on the side. So, I mean, the amount of stuff that's happening in this bedroom, and this is just like a vignette, right? It's not even the entire bedroom showing. So I just, I mean, like, what can you say, right? You can just drool over this, which is what I've been doing. So I just have a lot of respect.
So here's another thing that I want to point out in this. It looks to me that the top of the drape and the top of the cornices are all lining up.
Look at you being all like, good for you.
And that's why I'm like, sorry everyone that you're getting like a zoomed in version of my pores, but I'm trying to see it.
Yeah,
that's why I'm coming closer
absolutely.
to the phone.
Absolutely. So and I love that you're noticing it. It's those kinds of details, because if they were on separate levels, different levels, it would look messy, right? And this space has already a lot going on in it, and to also add other messiness that is not really warranted or required, why do that? So, I mean, I think there's a lot of thinking and, thought and methodology consideration that went into this space.
Yeah, and I think what this is another good example too, is I think that sometimes we get, and I know sometimes I get this question too from designers, is it okay to use 2 different fabrics within the same room? And especially like,
heck yes.
Yeah, and the answer is yes. And the fact is that like this is an example of the drapes are in green, the Romans are in a cream color. So I think it would have looked a little strange if she had drapes on this window in the cream color and then drapes, in the green next to it. But like, this is an example of if you're mixing the design, I'm all about let's mix and match the fabrics.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right. So, I also really admire that she used that creamy whitish fabric on
Mm-hmm.
the Roman shades. Um, it's just it's incredible to see a finished space like this with so much going on, and it just makes you wonder how all of that design is thought through when
Right.
it's in fabric swatches, when it's just on paper, right? To put this many textures and this many colors together. And Kim, you and I talk about taking risks and how much we respect those designers that do take the risks.
Mm-hmm.
I find that this space is the risk like to the 10th power. So
Right.
I personally, I would not be able to ever have created something like this. I mean, it's just being self-aware, I think. And I look at it and really like it and admire the type of guts and courage that it took for her to do that.
Yeah, because when you're
And
to
a
your
vision
yeah,
to have that kind of vision.
because when you boil it all down, there's a lot going on in this room, but you don't get that feeling. Like you
Exactly. You
have
don't
the
get that messy, like, oh my gosh, I
no.
don't know where to look and
Yeah,
what's
it's just like
happening.
it's over designed, which this is not. And I feel like when the star here is the wallpaper.
Hmm.
So she could have very easily have put the green on the Roman shades and it would have totally been appropriate. But then it would have been, to me, it would have been the thought, maybe is it too much green? Where kind of the going with the cream that's popping off of the wallpaper and it's kind of making it quiet and subtle. So there are a lot of risks that you can take by doing this. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just amazing job. Michelle, you've done an amazing job. And I really do recommend you guys go and follow her on her
mhm.
Instagram. It's at Michelle Gage. And you'll see a lot of her work is that colorful. It's that risky. It's that unapologetic. And just amazing job for a young designer like that to have the vision, to have the courage, to have the guts to do this. It takes a special person. So I just really a lot of admiration and respect from me for Michelle.
Perfect. All right. And that concludes August's month of our designer highlight for this month. But before we let you go, there's a couple of free goodies that we'd like to share with you. Here at WindowWorks, we have Architectural Digest isn't coming, 10 things you need to know about custom window treatments. Luann wrote this ebook. So if you want to if you're new to the window treatment world and you want to get your copy, please head on over to windowworksnj.com.
And from Vitalia Inc., we also have a special free goodie for you. It is a curated lookbook filled with inspiration and education. You can find it on vitaliainc.com. Please, that's my website, vitaliainc.com. And it essentially is your inspirational guide to all things window treatments. You're welcome to steal and use and copy any of the designs for your own projects.
And to keep up with all things Luann, because she has a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline, please head on over to luannigara.com. And if you want to listen to any of the episodes of the designers that we feature here, this particular episode, we had 4 interior designers that have been on Luann's podcast. You can check it all out there.
Awesome. Oh, thank you, Gina, and thank you, Sandra, too. Thank you guys for joining us. So, and you guys, if you are in the Philadelphia area, if you're an interior designer in the Philadelphia area looking for support with your window treatment projects, that's what my company, Vitalia Inc., Window Treatment and Awnings, that's exactly what we do. We are a one-stop shop, your go-to resource, your white glove concierge level service as it relates to window treatments exclusively for interior designers. We're high-end, premier, luxury service for those interior designers that are also flying in that luxury interiors world, sort of first-class world of interiors and the window treatment. So we're here to support you.
All right. And if you are in the New Jersey, New York area and you are an interior designer or a retail client that would like some help on their next window treatment and or awning project, please give us a call. take all the guesswork out. We deal with all the nudgy details, where to put the rod, inside mount, outside mount. We have our own team of very experienced installers. Billy, who I've mentioned before on the episode, who fosters dogs, is the master, the artiste. So yeah, head on over to our Instagram at WindowWorks, and same thing on Facebook. We would love to hear from you about your next project.
All right, Kim, it's always such a pleasure and honor to hang out here with you every Friday, especially during these designer highlight episodes.
Yes.
They're truly one of my favorites.
Alrighty, everyone, have a fantastic weekend. And Vida, if it's Friday,
it is Window Treatment Friday Live. Join us here every Friday at 9 o'clock, you guys. And until then, have a great weekend.
Have a great week, everyone. See you next week.